Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Irene and my DIY Life Diaries. I hope you love Christmas villages as much as I do, because today I'm going to be making 3 Christmas villages in different styles. So let's get started. I'm going to be using children's wooden 3D puzzles as bases. They are quite inexpensive, there are many different models and therefore they're great for decoration. I'm living outside the US and therefore not all the models that I've used are available there. I've tried to find similar ones on Amazon. I'll leave the links for them in the description box below the video. I've decided to use wooden puzzles because it's so much easier to assemble a house from pre-cut parts than to cut it all out yourself, for example, out of cardboard. Although the quality of these puzzles may vary, sometimes parts do not hold well, you have to glue them, but all in all it's quite acceptable, especially considering the cost. For the first Christmas village I've taken the tiniest houses and I'm going to be making a vintage style Christmas village. So first I'm priming the assembled houses. Most of them have some elements drawn on them, but I want to paint everything in the same style, so I need to cover this. I'm using white acrylic primer. You could also use aerosol primer or even paint without priming. This is okay with plywood. You'll just need more paint layers to cover the surface well. After the primer gets dry, I'm painting the houses in ivory. I'm not painting the roofs as I'll use other colors for them. Here I've had to make several layers to cover all the colored elements. They are still slightly visible, but this is even a good thing since I'm going to use them as a guide when drawing the windows and the doors on the repainted houses. I'm painting the roofs in traditional Christmas colors, making them red and green, and I'm also painting some small elements on the houses where I have them, like awnings over the windows, a bench, doors and the like. You can also paint the houses in red and green and make the roofs white instead. I'm painting window frames and door frames in bronze. It provides a more finished look to the windows. You could also make them brown or red and green like other elements. Not all of the houses had windows cut through, some had simply painted on windows, and there I'm painting on the insides of the windows first using dark grey paint, and then I'm painting on the frames with browns. But I have to say, better if you get houses with cut windows, it's so much easier to paint them. I've spent most of the time on the half-timbered house. I even wanted to paint everything over with ivory at some moment, but the house looked a bit dull without these elements, so in the end I've drawn them, although they are far from perfect. After that, I'm going to be covering the houses with snow. Since I'm making the vintage style houses, I've decided to use pieces of cotton and mica. First, I'm attaching small lumps of cotton with white glue on the bases and roofs of the houses. You can play here, either snow the roofs heavily or lightly as you like. I'm making snow caps at the very top of the roofs in order to hide the joint of the construction elements. They are not very nice, and I'm also adding snow here and there along the edges of the roofs. And finally, I'm covering the entire surface of the houses with white glue and sprinkling them with mica. You can use any delicate sparkles or glitter. Then I'm waiting till they are dry and arranging the houses. I'm showing you a rather simple design option, but you can decorate the houses more brightly. Add small bottle brush Christmas trees decorated with beads, hang Chanel wreath on the doors, and so on. I made a very similar Christmas village last year out of plastic doll houses, but these are smaller and therefore are perfect for a very nice small Christmas village on a tray or something. My second Christmas village is going to be made out of bigger houses. By the way, this is a whole series of puzzles. I've assembled 2 houses and a windmill. They also have a water mill, and I think that it would also work out great. When assembling, I didn't install the bases of the houses so that I could put a garland inside later. Since the houses are quite large, I want to add some texture to them. I'm going to decorate the roofs with some kind of tiles. I'm going to be using the leftover putty, which I've used for the wall in my working space. I'm smearing the putty over the roof surface in a thin layer. And then I'm pressing out a tile pattern with the tip of my palette knife, moving from bottom to top. If you have no palette knife, any flat stick with a rounded tip will do, but in general here you can experiment with different items of suitable shape that you have, making different patterns. I'm pressing the tip of the knife into the putty and then moving it up, leaving a kind of tile or fish scale pattern. I'm making the whole row like this, and as I'm moving to the next row, I'm trying to draw every scale in between the 2 scales of the previous row. In other words, placing them staggered. I'm making each part of the roof separately. It's better not to cover the entire roof with putty at once, because it dries out really quickly and the pattern would become sloppy. By the way, I have a grey putty here, but don't pay attention to this, it doesn't matter at all. You can take any putty, white or colored or would like, just any one you have on hand. I've also decided to putty the walls of the houses, not for texture, but to hide the connecting elements of the puzzles. There are kind of slots in the walls. I don't like the way they look. I'm trying to cover all these areas flush with the rest of the surface. What I like most of all is how the tiled roof looks on the mill. The putty here hides the ugly gaps between the parts of the roof. I think it's now looking so much better. Unfortunately, I cannot now get inside the mill, and I wanted to put fairy lights there. Although, if you think about it, that is quite correct. Who works on Christmas after all? I'm waiting till the putty dries well and sanding the surface a little, just to smooth out sharp edges and corners to make the houses more pleasant to the touch. I'm shaking off the dust with a dry brush and then I'm beginning to paint. I'm painting the houses first in a deep grey color, approximately the same I want to get in the very end, so don't use too dark a color here. I'm going to make these houses look like zinc Dutch tin houses. Of course, you won't be able to put real candles inside, but fairy lights or LED candles will work just as well. Since there are a lot of windows in the houses and they are quite large and you can see the inside of the house through them, I'm painting the inside of the houses in grey too. You don't want to see plywood through the window here. Next, I'm going to imitate a zinc surface. I love this technique because it's so simple but yet very effective. So, let's make some magic. After the main color has dried, I'm taking a wet paper towel, crumpling it and dipping this crumpled towel into grey paint, which has been thinned with water. This color should be several shades darker than the main grey, and then I'm applying paint to the house with the towel, using it like a sponge. I'm thinning the paint by eye. It should become quite liquid, but not like water, otherwise the traces of the paint will hardly be visible. In the video I've overdone it and the paint is too thin here, so the effect is almost invisible on the camera. In this case I'll need to make the paint a little thicker. Then I'm taking a light grey paint. I'm also thinning it with water and I'm dabbing all the houses the same way with a wet crumpled paper towel. Here the effect is well visible already. The towel should be wet here because then you're getting the spots which are blurred at the edges and very similar to those that there are on sink surfaces. If you use a dry towel, then the edges of the spots will turn out to be kind of sharp and the surface will look more like stone or cement but not zinc. You can make several layers like this using different shades of grey until you like the result. I've added one more layer of the dark grey paint. After all, the first layer was too faintly visible. And for the final layer I'm going to be using thinned silver paint. After applying silver, the surface looked just like real zinc. I'm also applying it using a wet paper towel. If you want it more shiny, do not add too much water to the silver paint, but keep in mind the real old zinc coating, which I'm trying to reproduce, doesn't shine too bright. Well, it seems to me that the trick was a success. The houses really look like metal ones, and with all those fairy lights inside, they are so cute and cozy. These houses look great in Scandinavian or modern interiors because they are not too bright. And by the way, this is not a special Christmas decor. You can keep them after Christmas as well. And finally, the third version of the Christmas village are Holland houses. I've bought them from a local store. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any houses like this anywhere else, but you can use the technique I'll show here for any kind of houses. First, as usual, I'm assembling the houses. Here the houses have a lot of frames and embellishments which you will glue over the base. I will not attach them now because I need to paint them first. And for now I'm going to be working with the bases. I've decided to make these houses checkered. I'm using paper napkins with the pattern I need, and I'm first separating the top printed layer of the napkin from the other layers. I'm trying on this thin napkin on the house to have a symmetrical pattern, and I'm cutting out the piece I need. Then I'm taking a clear sheet protector, adding some water over it, putting the napkin piece face down on the sheet protector and gently smoothing out the napkin. When moistened, a napkin increases in size a little, and if you attach it to the surface covered with glue, it immediately wrinkles because of this. Then I'm applying white glue or Mod Podge on the surface of the house and attaching the sheet protector with the napkin to it, of course facing the napkin side to the surface. The sheet protector is clear, so you can see whether it is laid down evenly or not, and you can peel it off and move it if necessary. And after everything looks nice and even, I'm carefully removing the sheet protector, coating the napkin again with glue and leaving it to dry. After drying, the napkin will shrink a little and you'll get a perfectly smooth surface without a single crease. I'm covering all the houses with napkins like this. For now I'm covering the windows too. I will cut them out later. The only thing is I'm trying not to apply glue on the window frames. I'm covering the walls one by one, waiting for them to dry and making the next side, so as not to accidentally move the napkins on the finished side. It dries out very quickly, literally in half an hour you can continue. Well, after everything dries well, I'm cutting through the windows with a box knife and cutting off the excess along the contour of the walls. After drying, the napkin becomes stiff and is very easy to cut through. When I've glued the napkins, I've tried not to cover the window frames with glue, but in some places the napkins still have stuck to them, so I'm trying to clean them as much as possible. The bases are now ready and I'll work on the embellishments. I'm painting all the parts white. The edges of the parts here are dark brown as they are laser cut, and in order to completely paint them over, I'm applying 2 or 3 layers. I'm also painting the bases of the houses white. I'm waiting until it's dry and finally assembling the houses and attaching all the embellishments. By the way, here my roofs are not covered with anything as I couldn't decide what to do with them. I also covered them with napkins later. After all the parts are in their places, I'm painting the window sashes as well in white as well. There are tons of small details here, so I wish I had spray painted all the houses parts white, both the bases and the embellishments before assembly. This would be so much faster than painting everything with a brush. Well, at the very end, I'm dry brushing the houses using white paint, making a kind of snowy effect, paying attention to all the edges and corners and especially the roofs. I've decided to tint the roofs even more with white, since they should be more snow. You can also add white glitter if you want to make the houses brighter. These houses are intended to be used for keeping tea bags, but I think they look better lighted. By the way, you can use any napkin patterns for this, although such a plaid looks very Christmassy to me. I'll leave the links to some nice napkins in the description box below the video as well. So, hope you liked my Christmas villages. Unfortunately, there's an issue about these wooden houses. As I've already said, I'm living outside the US, I'm from Russia, and here these wooden models are super cheap. They cost $1 or $2 for smaller houses. The bigger ones are maybe $5 per model, and this is why I've decided to use them as base for decorating. But the similar models I found on Amazon are more expensive than this. I still hope they are available in the US, in some other stores at more reasonable prices. And please also keep in mind you can use the techniques I've shown today for decorating any houses you'll find, like some cheap Christmas ornaments or, I don't know, bird houses from Dollar Tree and so on. Just get creative. Let me know what you think of today's project down below. Thanks for watching this video and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!